I'm not going to move forward. I'm not let them belittle me. I'm not going to kiss the ring. I'm not going to go on my knees. I knew that. So I sent an email to the mayor. I said, Mr. Mayor, the train has left the station. I'm officially withdrawing the application for the plaza.
Wow.
And you know what happened? I felt absolutely relieved. The stress was gone.
Yeah.
The rock on my back was gone. I felt like, why didn't I do this the first May 5th meeting?
Exactly.
Right?
Instead of...
It was a no-winning situation.
Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tranquilo. Today we are at the beautiful Fritz and Franz in Coral Gables, joined by Harold Neuweg. Appreciate you for having us and being here to host us at this beautiful spot.
Andre, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you have me on the show, and I have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming and setting up, and let's do this.
Absolutely. Fritz and Franz is a place that I frequent often, especially obviously around World Cup time and the big games, so definitely want to touch on that. But cheers. I've had many of these multiple times while I'm here at the Fritz.
As we say in Austria and Germany, Prost.
Delicious, delicious, delicious. But appreciate you for having us. And World Cup is here, right? You guys have been a staple in the Miami community for a very long time. Not only around World Cup, soccer, big sporting events, right? This is just a place that people feel like at home when they're here. Talk to us about the journey that you've been on when you opened and what the inspiration was behind Fritz.
It started actually in 1993 when I had a tiny small restaurant on Alcazar, 3 blocks from here. It was called Mozart Stube. It was a tiny little restaurant. And I always wanted to do some kind of event. And I went to the city of Coral Gables to the manager and asked, what does it take to take the street for a 3-day event? And he said, no problem, sign up the application. We get it approved by the commission and you can set up on, as long as you do everything by the book, we have no problem. And we did start with actually not the Oktoberfest, but we started with a blues festival because I'm a big blues lover. I like the American music form. And we did a very good blues festival, a 3-day event. And it was very successful. And that was, I believe, in May. In October, that same year, we set up Oktoberfest. And we did a 3-day Oktoberfest. We brought a band from Austria, and we set up a tent, and we had beer bar. And again, it was a tremendous success in the city of Coral Gables. So it was kind of like, wow, we're building something here. And I realized this is going very well. So every year from 1994 till I moved over here, we did Oktoberfest on Alcazar and Blues Festival. And in 1994, we also showed the first World Cup in the tiny little restaurant. Remember, one TV, and we bought the rights at that time from Sant'Anta, and we set up, and we had like 50, 60 people in the restaurant. That's all we can hold. And we shot the World Cup. And we realized nobody in Miami knows about soccer at that time. So we had our customers, our followers. And when we moved over here in 1999, we opened Satchmo Blues Bar and Grill here. This venue with the TVs and everything gave itself up to Champions League, European Championship, Copa America, and the World Cup. And eventually, a year later, we moved the event. And I said, I believe 2000 was World Cup, I believe. No, was the European Championship. Okay, and we put the European Championship outside. It was a tremendous success. 2 years later, in 2002, we had the first World Cup on the plaza. And it was an incredible success, and people were happy, and we played the music, and we had all the games showing. It was tremendous. So we moved forward 24 years doing Copa, European Championship, Champions League finals. All of this was set up on the plaza. We have a giant screen, 16-foot big screen, not only inside the restaurant, but also outside. We have speakers, we set up beer bars, and it's a party.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge party. I think you were in many of them.
Many of them,
And I believe in 2006, when Argentina played Germany, I think we did about 3,500 people here.
Wow.
That was including, we had Mary Quay, and it was just a tremendous party all day. And I remember CBS, NBC, and ABC were broadcasting it. They came at 4 a.m, setting up the buses where they transferred the live shots from the Fritz Franz Bierhaus. And during the game, halftime show, I get a phone call. A friend of mine is on a cruise ship in the Caribbean, right? And he tells me, you won't believe it. I'm watching Fritz Franz Bierhaus live on ABC from
incredible.
Coral Gables. He said, I couldn't believe it. Your bar is on live TV during the halftime show of the soccer final, World Cup final. Unbelievable. So it was very successful.
It's incredible. As you mentioned, I've been to multiple of these World Cup events out here, and it is a party, right? And it's a party where it doesn't matter who you're rooting for, right? You're just here rooting for your team. Right. You got one side that might be Argentina, and the other side that's Colombia, or one side USA, the other side Germany. It doesn't matter who in the world is playing. It is packed to the brim, and I think people like to come here because of the environment that it is, right? Yeah. You want the energy around you when you're watching your favorite team play, whatever sport it may be, right?
People are dressed up in their national jerseys, you know. That all brings out who we are as people, okay? We are actually friendly people. All we want to do is leave us alone. We want to have some fun. On weekend, even if we don't have the language with each other, we understand soccer. We understand a World Cup party, and we understand that we actually all one thing in this world.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's the incredibility about soccer. Brings the people together. My point is always, if you want to have world leaders who are for peace, have soccer people and musicians, rock bands. They bring peace into the world.
Yes.
And soccer brings peace together. So yes, that's absolutely on family. People come with their families, with their kids, and I have kids to say, I was here 20 years ago when you had your first World Cup.
And now it's next generation.
Now it's 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful sight to see, and I think that's a perfect transition as to what's occurring right now, you know, with the city of Coral Gables specifically, right? You've been here, you've showcased what community that you're able to bring here in a very safe way, in a very fun way, right? Kind of the perfect blend of what everybody wants, right? You feel safe, you feel at home, but you're also having a phenomenal time when you're here. But unfortunately, there's been a little bit of clash between you and the city of Coral Gables. Talk to us about what that's been like. Has this been something that's been going on for a while, or is this something as a more recent?
No, I think this is going on for a while because the city put some very strict rules on noise ordinance. And at that time, I think it's like 8 or 9 years, 10 years ago, we had to stop doing the Blues Festival, which was also a community event where everybody came, no admission, just a free to the public event. And needless to say, I hardly ever made money with the Blues Fest, but I'm a big blues lover. I pay the bands, I like, as long as I break even, I'm okay with that. So Blues Fest was always like, okay, why are we doing this? Because I really love the music.
Absolutely.
Then we stopped having Blues Festival. And then a few years later, we stopped having Oktoberfest, which was a staple in Coral Gables. 32 years Oktoberfest. And we're not having that anymore because of noise ordinance.
Wow.
And I remember we had at our I don't know, was it 5, 6 years ago, our last one, we had a band from Vienna, a very good band, cost me $10,000 for the band, plus flight, hotel, and eating and drinking. And it's pretty expensive. We had 3 bands from Austria.
Wow.
And the city put a code enforcement right across the street, and the code enforcement officer told the bands, please stop playing so loud, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. So the band from Austria said, Harold, you know, we love to, but we cannot perform like this.
Of course.
So this was the last year Oktoberfest we had.
Wow.
And that was 6 years ago. And now the city wants to basically make it difficult for us to do the World Cup. Okay? And the reason for that is a vindictive act by the mayor. The mayor 2 years ago didn't want to renew our lease. In 24, May 31st, our lease basically ran out with the city. The city is my landlord, and says, look, we're not going to renew the lease for you. And the city came up with all kinds of ideas that I didn't pay the rent, I owed this, I was not clean enough, this place doesn't belong in the city, it's not fancy enough. This was the attitude from the city, and blaming me for all kinds of things which were untrue. They lied to the media. The assistant manager at that time, the spokesperson for Coral Gables, lied to the media that I owed them money. And at that point, I said to the manager at a city commission meeting, if I owe you money, how much do I owe you? And he couldn't answer that because I didn't owe any money at that time.
Yeah.
But the city had to vote on it if they want to extend my lease or not.
Wow.
And luckily, we had very good support by Melissa Castro, Commissioner Castro, Ariel Fernandez, and Kirk Menendez. These were three commissioners who absolutely supported the idea of Fritz Franz Bierhaus. So the city had to vote on it to give us another extension for the lease. Or let's negotiate, which we did. Of course, we paid a much higher price now than we used to be, but we said, okay, fine, market value, we're okay. And that was a thing the mayor had to say yes, otherwise he would have looked good. And that was lying in his stomach for 2 years. And at the city commission meeting on May 5th, mayor walks by me, I get up, shake his hand, and I say, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. And the mayor said, are you here for another discount? Which I've never been for a discount to the city. And he said, no, I'm here for the plaza setup for the World Cup watch party. And he said to me, you shoved it down my throat. I didn't have to ask him what he meant. I know exactly that this is still lying in his stomach 2 years ago, from 2 years. And I realized maybe it's time to just get up and walk away. But I didn't. I went in front of the commission. I was there from 9:30 in the morning. They took me at 5:15. City commission, when they see somebody in a private manner, it used to be the mayor, the commissioner would say, oh, Harold is here. He's agenda H1. Let's move him up. He needs to go back to the restaurant.
Of course, right.
This was a normal thing. This was a city commission meeting. It was not a trial. So on May 5th, it was a trial. And the mayor let me wait until 5:15, 5:20, and he pulled me up. And then he made me look like a little schoolboy, that I didn't do my homework. I don't have a plan how to do this. Safety issue, noise issue, garbage issue. And again, only lies. Safety issue, 24 years of doing events without any incident.
Right.
Garbage issue, it's nothing. We call waste management. We have two extra pickup, whatever we need. There was never a dirty plaza. Was no issue. Noise issue, yes, I cannot control when USS goes, you should hear it in Miami Beach, right? You're supposed to hear it in Miami Beach.
Right.
This is the fun place to be in South Florida.
Exactly.
Yes, it sounds like a stadium, but this is what the people want.
Right.
So all these points, what he said, these are issues we have to address. And he deferred it on May 5th. So I prepared a speech for the May 19th meeting, where I wanted to tell the public and the commissioners what he actually said to me, you shoved it down my throat, and how I felt about it and all these things. And then I decided maybe it's not a good thing to do.
Right.
I'm not politically correct. As you know me, and we have seen each other many times. I say what I think.
Absolutely.
And I don't lie about anything because I don't have to. So last minute, I hired an attorney. And I explained the situation. And there was Amanda Hahn, very good attorney. And she also recommended, maybe, Harold, it's not a good time that you go. I go for you, and I bring this across, and we get this done. So she went to the city commission meeting and trying to talk. We had a plan B, which was only 11 days. July 3rd, 16 days. July 3rd to July 19th. But only 11 days because there's some days where there's no soccer games.
Of course, yeah.
So I added, because we get so many phone calls at the beer house, in last minute for the commission meeting, I added 6 more days, 6 more games. Because USA, we wanted to show the 3 group games, and Germany, because the phone calls were just getting, I want to book a table, I want to do this,
okay.
we're coming, 20 people, we're 40 people, we are 12 people from Orlando, we're coming down, we are 40 people from Fort Myers, in the past, we're coming to your place.
Holy
Things like that.
Yeah.
So I said, we have to add these days. So for the Tuesday City Commission meeting, it was not in the agenda, but we asked to add these days. And the commission went, hey, why you cannot do that? And you didn't do your homework, and why did you not ask before? And I said, look, I wasn't there, but my attorney told them, this was the last minute, the phone calls go crazy, we're adding this. And we are here to talk about it.
Exactly.
Right? This is what we like to have, right? At the end, the mayor deferred it again. And the mayor, Vice Mayor Anderson, on Commissioner Richard Lara, whatever the mayor does, they do. And they deferred it. right? So the mayor said, I need to sit down with the police chief and the fire chief and himself to talk about the safety of the issue, right? In past 24 years, we went to the city commission, we got approved resolution to get approved, and then we went to the police chief and say, how many officers do we need? These are the games. When do you need them? And what? And we did it.
Right.
There was never an issue with that. Okay, so we did it. Fire department, we never had fire department in 24 years, right? It's not a closed environment, so we cannot move the barricades.
Of course.
If something happens, all the barricades get open and people can leave. So it was not an issue either. And I waited then the next day, and I see emails from the mayor, from the city, from the police chief. Has Harold responded to the meeting? And I didn't respond the whole day, which was May 20th. On the May 21st, I see an email from the mayor, which says, has the council for Fritz Franz Bierhaus responded after my multiple questions asking him to come to the table? And he copied in the email, I think, half of the city hall, right? Wow. Meaning he wants to make sure his back is safe.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So I responded because I already knew at that time I'm not going to move forward. I'm not letting them belittle me. I'm not going to kiss the ring. I'm not going to go on my knees. I knew that. So I sent an email to the mayor. I said, Mr. Mayor, the train has left the station. I'm officially withdrawing the application for the plaza.
Wow.
And you know what happened? I felt absolutely relieved. The stress was gone.
Yeah.
The rock in my back was gone. I felt like, why didn't I do this the first May 5th meeting?
Exactly.
Right?
Instead of...
It was a no-winning situation. And on top of it, the city wanted to charge me $70,000 for the police, for the fire, and for the use of the plaza. 70.
Wow.
So that's what they wanted to have. Impact fee was for the police was instead of $68, it's $100 an hour, 4 hours minimum, and 4 police officers minimum. And for these 26 games.
And that 70,000 was for the whole duration of the...
No, it was only for 26 games.
Oh, wow.
Not for 104 games.
Right.
For only 26 games. Figure out if you do like...
the math. Yeah, it's a lot of money for every game.
When I told, I had a meeting with Commissioner Anderson where I thought she would understand what I'm talking about. And I did. I said, I need to sell 7,000 beers just for you guys.
Right, just to cover that.
You know, think about how much is 7,000 beer. You line them up a miracle mile up and down.
Exactly.
So that's when I pulled the plug. And I did say, I would say, I pulled the plug.
Okay.
And now I am in control of the plaza again. And the only way I would set up the plaza is I want the mayor of Coral Gables, Vincent Lago, to resign. Yeah, it's big. But if I am not going big, nobody will listen, nobody will talk about it. And what we're seeing in the community, it's a big issue right now.
Yeah.
And they know, and I would say 95 of the people, the comments I read everywhere, they are pro Fritz Franz Bierhaus soccer watch party.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's of course a few people controlled by the mayor's media agenda. Yeah, fine.
Of course.
You cannot win everybody.
Absolutely.
But yes, I want the mayor Vince Lago to resign. And the day he resigns, we will set up the plaza for the people. Because the people in Coral Gables, people in Miami, people in South Florida, they want this. And I want to say one thing more to the city of Coral Gables, and hopefully they will listen to me. Friday, June 12th, USA is playing Paraguay at 9 p.m. at night. We all know the Latinos don't go out at 6 if there's a party at 9 starting, right? They're going to be out, and they're going to come to this plaza in droves. And if the city is not ready to control the people on the plaza, because now without the setup, it's out of control and out of our control. I think the city will wish that we have a controlled environment, wish that we set up like we did the last 24 years, and wish to control the people on the plaza, not stepping out on the street, having 4 police officers who control. I always had police officers. We always paid for that, off duty.
Right.
But this time we don't.
Right.
because it's not our plaza.
Right.
If people set up barbecues out there or beer cakes, there's nothing we can do.
It's out of your control.
It's not our event.
Essentially, anything that's considered the plaza is right outside of these columns in front.
Yes, that's
right?
correct.
Okay.
We have our tables, which is regular business operation.
Right.
We have from one end of the restaurant to the other end, and we will do just fine.
Right.
And we will not reserve these tables because it wouldn't be fair to the people to reserve everything. But you have to come early. And you have to come all together. Meaning, if there's a group of 8,
one can't come and then hold it down.
you can't hold the whole tables.
Yeah.
It would be unfair to the people who are here.
Yeah.
And we said that's a rule now we have. And if 10 of you are here, I sit here right away as long as we have room. And
Absolutely.
It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Yeah. So you're I wouldn't say concerned, but what the situation essentially could unfold through all of this is that come Friday, the 12th, when USA is playing at 9 p.m., you're going to be operating within your walls, but people could be coming out and just congregating in the area and then wanting to watch the game from there because you have the TVs outside and then people kind of stand out and watch.
And we have in every window you see here, we have a TV going out, and they're very good TVs, so people can stand 20 foot away and still see the game. Plus they hear the game, the atmosphere is still going to be here.
Of course,
But they probably will bring their own drinks, right? Which is an open container law in the city as well. We are not supposed to, but they will bring their own. They will bring their own food. They will bring food from other, which is all okay. It's nothing to do with us.
Of course.
That's a public plaza, as the mayor said. It's here for the public.
Got it.
But it will be uncontrolled that soccer night.
Yeah. No, it's an unfortunate situation to say that.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Very sad.
And my biggest thing as a fan, as a resident of the city of Miami, right? I don't live here in the Gables, but I frequent the Gables often, right? It's the community aspect of all of this. It comes once every 4 years. It's not like this is going on all the time. It's a massive celebration, and this year's is unique, right? We're a host city.
USA plays at home.
And exactly.
Host city.
We're a host city of Miami. We're also host country, right? So it's all these extra elements that is like, why now? Why couldn't we just put our differences aside and let's help the community out, right? That's the unfortunate piece about it.
That's all it is. It goes back 2 years, and it's a mayor which is like hurt his feelings, right? And he doesn't care about the community. He cares about his feelings, and he said, "Okay, I'm not gonna make it easy for this guy." I bet you he will never thought that I will pull the plug. I bet you the city did not think about that. That it gets to the point where I say, okay, enough is enough.
Right.
Stop doing this because I'm not a little boy and I have done this 24 years. So safety issue, I know better than anybody in the city. And if the city puts an event like this together, they need 100 employees to do that, right? And outsource everything.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Outsource the TVs and outsource the sound and all that. They need everything.
Yeah,
it costs them maybe $200,000 to do an event like
something
this.
Like that. Right? Yeah.
Ask when they do one day event how much it costs. You know. Yeah. So it's so low by this mayor in the city of Coral Gables that you know what, I talked to people and I said it's his problem. He started this problem, and they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
Nobody likes this guy. I said, why is nobody standing up to this guy? Why is nobody standing up to this guy and saying, look, enough is enough, right? So I'm standing up to the guy, and enough is enough, Mr. Mayor. I want you to resign, leave the people, the plaza to the people, and we're going to have a good time, and that's the end for me. You know, I'm not going to go to the front of city commission anymore. I'm not negotiating with anybody in the city. I don't have to. I'm running my restaurant. And the other thing is, the city is the landlord, my landlord here. So don't make my life difficult now, right?
Exactly.
Because it's not going to be well for the city if you make my life difficult.
Of course.
Because of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
So for you, it's now peace of mind. Operate. Provide still a venue and a space for the fans.
I make sure the people have a great time.
Exactly.
I make sure we do everything by the book.
100%.
Right? We're not going to go out of doing something crazy. We're not going to go on the plaza. We're not going to use we don't advertise. We don't advertise at all to come here. We don't need to. People come by themselves. So I'm not going to make something extra to make this an unsafe place.
Right.
We will have security. We will have barricades up, and we tell everybody, will be signs up. please do not walk outside the barricades with your beer. We're going to do that.
Yep.
And we try, and we saw it last Saturday. We had
Yes, with the
PSG and Arsenal.
Champions League
Was very good. I could have used maybe a couple guys for security. I didn't know we have so many. And we sent about 200 people away. I said, please go to Graziano, go somewhere else. Because we are full.
Right.
And once we're full, that's it. There's no
Nothing
more
you
we can do.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So post World Cup, what does Fritz and Franz? I know there's been talks that you're going to sell and maybe move. Is that still an option?
Yes. And again, it's that at one point you get fed up with the city, with your landlord, and say, look, again, enough is enough. And I believe I can put this Fritz Franz Bierhaus anywhere in Miami, or in this point, anywhere in South Florida. And we're going to do great if the city doesn't interfere with us, or the landlord doesn't interfere with us.
Right.
And this is what's happening. And this is also the point. June 5th, after that meeting, after it was deferred, I called my realtor, we listed it, and I said, blow it up. Let everybody know.
Yeah.
I'm selling because I don't want to deal with the city of Coral Gables, with this mayor anymore. I don't. And since they're my landlord, I would have to deal with it the next 8 years we have here. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because, I have a business to run. This is family operation. I don't have time to sit with lawyer and say, what's my option?
Exactly.
Or have meetings with the city directors on director of this. And I tell you, we are here since 1999. You know how many people I had as a landlord?
Probably a lot.
Maybe like 15, 20 different people. And then it goes always back to the commission.
Right.
And I had 6 different mayors, 25 different commissioners. And everybody is your landlord.
Yep.
Right? You don't want that.
No,
I don't want that no more.
Of course.
I'm a hardworking guy. I'm in the kitchen most of the time when it needs to. I'm happy when the customer is happy. But I do not need this anymore. So that's why, yes, the place is up for sale. And I don't think anybody would take over the beer house. I think they will look at the location, look at the leaseholds, and look at all the improvement and whatever they want to do. It's fine with me. And if that's the case, we're going to move Fritz Franz Bierhaus, maybe just across the street, somewhere up and down 37th Avenue, and we don't lose one customer.
Exactly.
Because by the time we do this, media is going to blow up again.
Oh, of course.
And
the moment you say, hey, we're going across the street or we're going here, everybody's running over there.
And then when you look at the Tampa Bay Times, which wrote this iconic Florida restaurant, and I compare iconic restaurant with Joe's Stone Crab and Sloppy Joe's in Key West.
It's amazing.
Right? And the mayor of Coral Gables is kicking us out, basically. He's saying, no, he's going to negotiate. I want to sit down with Harold. Mr. Mayor, I don't want to sit down with you anymore. No more talking. It's over. Don't ask anymore to sit down with me. It's over. Right? So, yes, it's on the market. I had another meeting with realtors this morning, and it's very much on the market. Whoever wants this can have it. But personally, I'm done with this city. And as much as I love Coral Gables, because it's a great city, right? With this mayor, I do not want to deal with him. With this commission, I would say 60% of the commissioners, 66%, I do not want to deal with, right? And that's what it is. And I think it makes aware all the people in South Florida what is going on there.
Yeah.
Why has this come to this situation? Was that necessary? Right? Wasn't there just, I remember Jim Kaysen when he was the mayor of Coral Gables, and I went for an application. He said, consent assignment.
Yeah.
Done. We all know Harold is going to do it. And then there was Valdez Folly one day, and there was the Commissioner Kerdyke, and there was a gentleman applying for Oktoberfest license in Coral Gables, right? And Kerdyke said, I don't know what you're here for. We have an Oktoberfest. Harold is doing a great job. We don't want a second Oktoberfest. Why would we do that? And they denied his application 5-0.
Wow.
That was City Commission working with the businesses, working with the small business, working with the people who know what to do.
Absolutely.
And I always said, this is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I think at the end of the day, it always works out for the better, right? Fritz and Franz has that presence and has that notoriety in the community, and we're going to be here to support. Like I said, we've been here. We're going to continue to come. And I think it's good to always just have a transparent conversation across the board and be able to share that. But Harold, I really appreciate you sharing a little bit of insights, a little bit about your story, and we're excited to continue to support Fritz and Franz and be here for the World Cup. Absolutely.
Andres, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm glad you listened to me venting here a little bit.
I love it.
I feel great about
that's
it.
That's where the Stay Tranquilo aspect comes in, you know. Hopefully that venting helps you out a little bit.
Do it. Like I said, once I said no to the plaza, I feel tranquilo.
Tranquilo. I love it. We'll feel tranquilo after this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tranquilo.